All right, here we are. We're back. This is On Cooldown, our new bi-weekly podcast for the eSports Ukatsu community. I think it's time that we talk about stuff that's going on because this podcast is here to cover all things eSports related as it pertains to Ukatsu in our community. So I'm pretty excited here. Ben Brooks here, co-founder of Ukatsu, host of today's show. With me we have Coach Mr. Clifford Salmons.
Matthew Gosu Perkins.
Sean, Leisurely L, you.
Okay, there we go. I didn't introduce anyone. That
There
works
we
out
go.
perfectly. As you said,
Right.
here, 80 carry for Hickman High School, or the now late
Alumni.
high school 80 carry. Alumni? Is that what we call it?
Almost, yeah.
Alumnus?
Well, that's what it's called on the
Yeah.
Discord.
That's right. I guess you're saying late high school 80 carry sounds like you died. Leisurely Owl over here, the new
Wouldn't be too
senior.
far from the
So you're
truth.
not graduated. You still have a year left, Sean.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunate? Is
Unfortunate.
that a good thing?
Unfortunate.
Is
Are
that
you excited?
unfortunate? I mean, I'm sort of excited, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, junior year is supposed to be the hardest year. Senior year is
It really
just like
is.
the laziest year.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be a hard time for me, too. Like,
Well, I
based
feel
on my
like it
schedule.
really just depends.
Yeah, it's hard all around.
It
Yeah,
really
I guess
just
that's
depends.
hard all around. Going into this one, though, you guys are face to face. The finals wrapped up not that long ago. Not rubbing any salt in any wounds here, I promise. Hickman High School walked away with the victory. Rockbridge came up a little bit short. You guys actually play against each other in lane, as an 80 carry, as
Yeah.
a support. You guys honestly don't know each other too well personally, but how did you guys feel about the rivalry as a whole, like the whole Hickman-Rockbridge dynamic? Did you feel any animosity here, Sean, Matthew, or you guys?
Well, me and Sean, we play ranked together sometimes.
Yeah, we're
so,
pretty chill. I don't really care about it.
Yeah, and we
anyways.
talk in Discord all the time, so we really didn't have like a ball lane rivalry. It was more so just like I wanted to win the trophy, and he was in my way, obviously.
It was more like, oh, yeah, I got to fight against that guy. I mean, but he's chill, so I guess I'll just get prepared. Like, that was it. So, not much of like a sparking rivalry that everyone might have expected, but
Rivalry
it was
based
just
on
a-
yeah,
respect.
no, I think that's the way it's supposed to be, right? I mean, it's not very often. I think a big part of this podcast, I'll say it a lot, is kind of relating it to traditional sports, just kind of perspective-wise. Maybe for people who aren't familiar playing in a league or in a scene, but like that doesn't happen, right? You can't be a QB and playing with your rival team's wide receiver. Like you can't duo
Right,
Q
yeah.
together and get that experience. So that level of respect or that kind of relationship that you guys have outside of the game, outside the competition, isn't as easy to develop. So I think that's really cool that you guys. I mean, I knew you guys were fine. I
Yeah.
hope you guys were fine. I would have.
yeah, we're definitely fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is not. It's not scripted. They're not told to say
No,
that
no.
they are actually fine.
There
I
goes
hope.
Ben again.
That makes
making
it
all the
even worse.
assumptions.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna cut that out. We're gonna leave that in. Doesn't really matter. I think that's cool though. I guess. Do you guys feel any pressure though? Like the whole Hickman Rockbridge thing? I think for every other sport, it is very much so. Like we have to win. Is it any different playing against each other rather than playing against like Battle, for instance?
There was a lot more pressure on our team side because we dropped the victory last season, so we definitely had to step up, proving that we were the better team and actually winning this time.
Was that even aside from finals, just like any game, I guess? Because it was actually Battle that knocked you guys out last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for Hickman Purple, yeah, I think so.
Really.
Yep.
I don't.
Sorry, I got fact checked.
I thought that last year we were in the finals against Rockbridge. Was that not? Is
So
that not
last
right?
year was the
The last year
semifinals.
was-
Last year,
Yep.
Rockbridge, the
Oh,
A
you're
team
right,
played against
yeah.
Battle, and
That's right.
the B
My,
team played against Gold. It was Gold Purple.
Yep.
Played against against Rockbridge. That was true.
That's right. My
And
battle
that's
team
where-
knocked out Hickman in the semifinals.
then it
and
was
they played
battle
out of their
versus-
minds. So
I was really upset.
I understand.
I remember that. I was really upset about that.
Yeah, and I believe, and I think that's as far as competition goes, right? Like, it's not. It's not a video game at that point when you're playing for your team and everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you feel any pressure, anything different, Sean, against Hickman, against any other team?
I mean, for this season that just ended, we did have a lot of pressure, but like for Rockbridge internally as a club, we had a lot of issues creating our own rosters and getting our combination right. So instead of like having more pressure, we decided to just have like a good friendship, just end with a good season, and just try to have fun and not get told to each other and get like serious about it.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
And that was our primary goal.
yeah, I mean that seems like the right way to handle it.
Yeah,
Um,
Hickman's main advantage was that we had a lot of players. We really had so many people to choose from. So we obviously had our squad. We had the senior squad able to play as a whole team, and then we had, at least 4 substitutes, and the whole underclassmen below me that played on the purple team were all like really nice kids, and they really wanted to win too. So that just even helped it even more.
How about battle? How'd that
So
go?
Battle-
Having the complete opposite from these two
There was
guys
kind of
here.
a shortage of players at Battle. It was instead of where teams they compete internally for being on the team and like who's on the bench, who's on the team. At Battle, it was more so like you can play the game at a competitive level. Like you know how to play the game. You're at level 30. You're on the team. So
You've touched the game before, yeah. So I don't know. It just doesn't sound like you guys had that much of a rivalry, kind of like preconceived. What do you think would have been more cool? Would have been cooler if there was more of like a hype factor, or if there was like stuff building up to big matches. Do you think would you guys have liked that more?
Maybe if there was like a weekly podcast for everyone while like practicing in Ukatsu, like what Ukatsu intended to as like a practice faculty,
He practices.
If that happened, that would have been awesome. Like, that's what I think.
It comes down to the dedication of the player, the players involved, right? And like, the Hickman team was really involved. Actually, we all tried to make our practice times whenever we could, and I don't know how it was for other schools, but it definitely really just comes to how hyped the matches are going to be is based on how other teams are practicing and how much time they're investing into it.
Cool, so cool. That means we don't got to put out videos or anything like that. We just got to make the other teams think the other teams are practicing more.
Exactly.
It's
Dang.
easy.
this is gonna be such a hard match. The other schools are
Yeah,
practicing
I swear,
daily,
they're
guys. Like,
they're
Exactly.
here every day. I promise.
they have their secret Discord they linger in. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean that's cool though, and I think compared to other sports, I think just you guys being able to communicate in a community outside, that probably helps a lot with the whole. There's no animosity or anything like that, and I think that's really cool. That's the thing that we wanted to build most. That's the coolest part about esports, right? Is that it's inclusive. Doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. Everyone can play the game. So that's really cool.
We don't have to take a physical
No,
to be on the esports team.
well,
That's-
I'm sure you might have to. I mean, maybe down the road if it becomes
In
like a mission
college-
thing,
or
it's
in
important.
college, yeah.
physical.
Maybe.
And maybe a thing where you're drug tested. So
I'm sure they'll take physicals too. I never got drug tested in high school, but you can do a physical for anything. You get concussions here. You guys are spinning around in the chairs.
concussions. Headphone fell from a dangerous height, and
Yeah, the next part though that I want to talk about today, it's kind of up in the air. We're still recapping. I promise you, we actually will have highlights of the season, so that's going to happen.
Eventually.
Quarterfinals, postseason, all that stuff. It is going to happen. I want to take a little bit of time though to talk about your guys' favorite moments. And this might not be your favorite moment, but it's a moment that I kind of want to bring up and talk about of the season. Matthew Gosu about Perkins over here, 80 carry for Hickman High School. You mentioned one of the most exciting moments for you was Week 7, Day 2, up against Rockbridge Gold. Boom. I know.
Oh,
it's
Rockbridge Gold. Yeah,
Rockbridge
yeah,
Gold. You're
yeah.
against Rockbridge Gold, and you had a pretty cohesive play with your teammates here. And you think that wasn't only your best play of the season, but you think it was
That
the best
the best,
best
play in the whole season.
the best play of the entire league. We're going to play it right here.
The comps played very similar roles. They just had to avoid hitboxes, really just avoid some of those abilities that were being thrown out, and either find the right pickups and counter engages, or they had to just play team fights like this. But it doesn't Oh, matter wow, when the- Hickman High the School is Oriana so ult. far ahead. What a great combination play right there for Hickman High School. That's a quadra kill for Gosu bot.
And so I think there's a little bit of bias there. Of course, getting the quadra kill is great. Yeah,
I didn't even do that much damage, I don't think.
Yeah.
I just got all the last hits.
No, I think it's right. I think the cool part about that play, and that's something I want to do, especially on this podcast sometimes, is going back and for Overwatch or for future seasons, want to have people on from previous games to talk about how they felt and their experiences in game, like the week after. I mean, like, oh, let's talk about this, because I think that right there was really exciting and cool, not just because of the highlight. You got a quadra kill. Your entire team did that without losing anyone. It was a great wombo combo, coordination of ults, but it was set up before.
Yeah, it was super coordinated. So I said that I was actually going to go for the flank, but our plan was to put the Oriana ball onto the Jarvan, and the Jarvan was going to sit there in Raptors because they didn't have vision of it because we already sweeped it, and we just kind of waited for that opportunity. If you were to watch that clip 30 seconds before that happened, you'd see that there's actually a couple opportunities for us to do that. but we were just waiting on the jungler's call to go in and really get the job done.
And I think that's something you guys built together as a composition. You had the Alawi in the top lane as well. Great
Right.
Wombo synergy, AoE synergy in general. And I'm sure, was that something you guys planned beforehand? Because that's a play that you can look at and you're like, that was really cool in the moment, and you could tell that you prepared for it in game. But I think we could even take a step back and we can say, well, maybe they prepared for that entire thing the week before up against that competition when they put this draft together, or maybe it was a draft on the fly.
So that Jarvan isn't exactly like this. Wasn't exactly the strongest pick later in the season, but that time Jarvan was probably the best jungler in the meta right there, and Alec had really wanted to play Orianna. So we set up this sort of allow we can split push if we go too far behind, or I can get picks being invisible, and we didn't completely revolve around the whole front to back wombo combo thing. It just kind of happened, but we definitely had other win conditions besides it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that makes a lot of sense. And we'll get back to that. But beforehand, we're going to flip it over to the complete opposite side from a completely super team planned, coordinated strategy and play. We're going to start over to, this might not be your favorite. I just wanted to talk about it, Sean. Like, what was your thought process going into it? This is from quarterfinals, up against Battle Gold.
Oh my goodness, there he goes again. Another kill going over.
Wow, Sean, you already on a killing spree. Sin is just walking up in front of him. Andrew Apostle picks up a kill once more onto Flaming Zombie Guy. Sonic Wave lands onto Cry Havoc. He is ignited. That's going to be enough damage. Sean steals the fourth kill of the
for
way.
himself.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. Again, it's time for me to be. As he walks right into melee range of those very fed Rockbridge High School Bruins. 13 minutes now. Rift Herald is spawned on the top side. Here comes the engagement from Landon Veers, trying to find a pick onto Michael Zhu. But for the rest of Rockbridge High School, they just walk out of it. Battle doesn't quite have enough damage to contest.
Yeah, that turret's getting low. Oh, no.
Oh, Sonic Wave does land onto Landon. Sean's now in the back line. Maybe going to escape, just ward hops to safety, but Andrew Apostle's side, he's going to go back in.
I don't think they're going to be able to do much more. They need to go back and get the wave. And try
this
to
is where teams
take
throw
down that
games. You
turret.
start getting overly confident. Again, they're literally running through towers right now.
Yeah, you see that one player miss.
Oh, but the binding by Addison lands onto both of them, but they are tanky enough to. What a performance. But the rest of Battle has to go trying to engage. No, finds a knockup onto Michael and Sean Yu, but the Dragon Kick is enough to knock away the rest of those teammates. Mystic Shot lands over multiple opponents. The rest of this fight is going terribly now for Battle High School as Michael turns it around. It's finally his turn to get some kills. He's got a triple kill. Does get hit by the Dark Binding. Final Spark lands as well. He's going to burn for a little bit. Maybe still trying to go for the quadra kill. There comes the ultimate from Andrew.
Sorry, Coach Salmons. Again, Coach of Battle High School, seeing that, it's like...
Oh, no.
And you have to mention as well that you're a support playing Lee Sin.
Support
For reference, if you don't play League of Legends, Lee Sin, the character who's playing, is not a support. And that little highlight, basically a little highlight montage of you playing Lee Sin, was exact opposite of what Gosu had going on in his play. And it was pretty much all you. That was all solo Lee Sin support play, making plays happen.
Make sure you steal every kill.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's another question too. Do you go into this game like thinking you're gonna take the kills because you get a lot of kills in general playing supports like Jan?
not
where to start with this?
really. It's like, I don't know. Like, the reason why I pulled out Lee Sin support is because like I've been playing that stuff for like since like season 4 when Ruby Wars existed, and even before the Tracker's Knife existed. So I just felt like, oh wait, I get a ward from a support item, and I can't get any more from the jungle after the new patch. And what if I put him on the support because he has all the kits, like he has damage, like he can engage, like he has shield, he got slow, he got vision from like hidden enemies, and he also got a stun, a delivery stun. So
I mean, that's
the
one way to.
delivery
I
kick.
guess if we like rationalize it enough, the pieces will fit.
it's like,
I mean, the kit fits, so he's a support.
I mean, that technically
like that
fits.
motto.
It technically fits. So
I'm not a big
Technically.
fan.
And I guess like for the perspective, up against Battle Gold, which was the lowest seed going into playoffs. A very newer team, as we talked about a lot going into the game. One way playing Lee Sin to me wasn't necessarily at all. I think some people were concerned was that like a BM move at first, and honestly, I don't think it was. I don't think you meant for it to be either. In some ways, you could think of it as your kind of masking your own plays. It's one more champion that you could play. Honestly, to a great effect. You ended that game with 10-1 and 19 assists, I believe. So that's incredible.
It's the
First of
pocket
all,
pick,
that's
yeah.
that's pretty incredible, especially from the Lee Sin position, and it just shows like you're mechanically you're practicing that champion. Yeah, I just wonder like was your team okay with that too?
My team was definitely not okay with it.
Because
Like,
Teddy okay with
against battle, I wanted to try jungle because like I just wanted to try a new combination within our team because our team was pretty flexible in position wise, but not in champion wise. So I talked to coach about me playing Lee Sin jungle like almost every week, I think. And
So he said, "Screw it, coach.
So,
I'm gonna play him
and
support."
I'm doing
yeah,
it.
You can't
that
stop
game,
me
that
now. Last pick, I'm
that
drafted.
game we just saw in the video, it was like they picked Morgana. I was like, I'm not picking Pyke, I'm not picking any hook supports that actually have like a kill participation or like kill potential in lane. So I was like, oh, maybe I can try Lee Sin like right now,
is
right
Lee Sin
there.
good into Morgana?
I don't know.
Is Lee Sin.
I didn't know if it was
guess.
like good or not.
Yeah.
I guess
don't know.
technically he doesn't
Yeah.
have any real CC except, and he doesn't.
Yeah,
Oh.
we saw it this way though. Between these two, AD carry bot lane, Matthew and Sean. These are their plays. You guys are watching when this does go live.
Mine
Let us
was
know
a
which
little
one do you
better.
think was better.
Mine was totally
I'm
better.
pretty sure it was Hickman's side.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
no.
kind of decided here that
Exactly.
Hickman play. But is it the best play of the Is it the best play of the entire season?
I think it's which one was more demoralizing. Maybe the question.
I don't.
That's
That's
not-
that's
that's
rough. Yeah, which one was more
demoralizing?
demoralizing?
Get
Which
it-
one was tougher for the other team to
Getting
deal with?
the entire team dying in the blink of an eye, or having a support Lee Sin dissect your entire team.
Well, you pretty much lose the game.
Yeah.
Whenever you get whenever I got that quadra kill, that was pretty much the end of the game. Like,
Yeah, but the other thing, one that's like the game's over. On the other hand, it's like, wow, I'm gonna take a
Wow, I
break from
got-
this game. I
yeah,
just got
wait a
beat by
minute.
at least in support, and it happens. It happens. It happens to all of us. And I think. Yeah, that's all I can say here. It happens to all of us.
the
You
Katarina
get some
support.
people just get
The
cheesed by
Katarina
all the
support,
things.
like that.
There's all kinds of cheese out there.
But at least in support, not the strangest thing. Next
No.
segment here that I want to go between you guys specifically. All of us here are actually bot lane mains. 80 carries, 2 80 carries here, 2 supports.
That's true.
We've seen a variety of different combinations, including a Lee Sin support now. What, in your mind, is the best combination of champions for a bot lane duo? Any rationale, doesn't have to be in the high school league, doesn't have to be any specific meta. Just give me 2 champions and tell me why.
So I guess I can start off. I've had extensive experience doing some really off-meta stuff in bot lane, and in the past, I would duo with a guy who is a mage player. He wouldn't play ADCs typically. He would play mages
Why do you play bot lane with you?
because we couldn't rely on the rest of the team. So what we would do is
Okay.
we would do Vel'Koz, and then I would play Bard. And the reason this worked is because we have such long range and sustain, which is just in the kits, that we can stay in lane indefinitely, and then we don't have to commit to anything. We can just poke them out all day long, and it doesn't matter if they try and engage on us, because as Bard you can just stasis the engage, create some space, and then use the Vel'Koz combo to just lay out an entire field of death. Which is why I liked it a lot. And it was really good into a lot of like Caitlyn, Jhin matchups, Ezreal, Jinx, all these long range matchups that are typically really annoying. Well, it's Vel'Koz. You can't stay at range because he has way longer range than you do. But I think right now, the better form of that, the evolved version, may be Nautilus and Vel'Koz.
Oh,
So
ooh. Nautilus is good in any team.
Yeah,
right,
all
right.
about the meta, all about the
I
meta.
think I'd imagine in the whole game right now, I think Nautilus Kai'Sa is just super strong because you have 2 CCs for the Kai'Sa passive, and then you lock down a target essentially, and the Kai'Sa can just pour damage into him. Other than that, probably my favorite lane comp to play is Jhin Lux.
oh, that one's
That's pretty free.
Jhin Lux is
that's an
pretty
annoying
free.
one.
Mhm.
Because I'm not a big fan of Ezreal in this season. I just feel
Ezreal's really big, and
unless
Yeah.
you don't have frontline, like if you don't have frontline, Ezreal's the right pick because you can create that space and really kite it out. But if you have like a tank in front of you, and like a normal traditional AD carry is just so much better.
Makes sense to
Yeah.
me. I mean, these all make sense to me. Sean?
I personally believe Xayah Nautilus probably is like the strongest lane,
What the-
just because like Nautilus can Q the enemy, and what Xayah can do is Q and auto and E. That's already like 3-second stun to the enemy. Then that also does a lot of damage. So I think that's like one of the
That's true.
strongest ones
The
right now.
Nautilus hook combined with the Xayah root that takes maybe the same time as the Nautilus CC.
Okay, I
so
don't know what I expect.
yeah.
Lo and behold, that the 2 support mains at the table, I think 2 supports make the best bot lane matchup.
Well,
That makes. I mean,
I
but I don't know
think-
what I expected. Sammons in general is likes his weird things, and I already saw
Yeah.
at least
I
some
mean,
support here.
there's also Bard and Ziggs out there,
Okay,
but
Ziggs is actually a viable bot laner. Though.
exactly. You
Yeah,
hard
destroy
push
that
mid
tower.
lane.
It's all about range. ADCs have to deal DPS. That's what it's all about for the most part. You got to be a DPS point, which those lanes kind of lack, but I guess you can supplement it in other lanes.
It's
But,
okay if you have enough damage.
I
to
think it's
just
all
kill
about
them.
getting in people's faces and showing who's boss, and I think nothing does that better than a Lucian Braum.
Oh.
Lucian Braum, get in your face, you get a stun, you get the Lightbringer procs, and all of a sudden they're stunned, you run them down, and feeling like a gunslinger feels great, so.
I feel like it's harder to hit Braum Q than it is Nautilus Q. Nautilus Q just like hits whatever's in front of it. I don't know what the hitbox is,
For
but it
some
just
reason,
hits everything.
I don't know. I've felt kind of the same way that Brahms Q feels smaller.
Right.
I don't know why.
You don't have to
because
lead with
they're both
Q,
very
right? It's all
large.
about the dash forward,
Dash forward,
Braum
auto
jumps
attack.
to you, and then you just punch him.
See,
Boom, bop
and
'em.
that is where
Depends if
another
it's
duo
good.
friend of mine, we would have countered it with a Vigar Nautilus.
Oh my God.
You just really like these mage
Okay,
Yeah,
characters.
I'm saying the mage
I mean-
bot lanes. If you
Who
get a
needs 80
good,
carries?
very consistent mage bot laner, you can destroy any bot lane and completely shut it
I
down.
think you're in
That
the
is
wrong
true.
season.
Yeah, they're just saying our position's obsolete. They don't need any
Right.
carries.
You act like they didn't buff crit items.
I mean, will crit save you from a Vigar?
I don't.
Never has.
I don't.
Never has.
Well, all the fun stuff aside, I think that makes a lot of sense, and we'll have to test this out someday. We'll have to test out all these synergies. We'll try it out. Bot lane duos,
Yeah, I'll have to find
AD
my
carry
duo.
duos up against each other with Vigar, Zyra. I don't even know, or what was it, Nautilus,
Nautilus.
Zyra. That sounds annoying. I would hate to play against that.
Yeah, I hate playing good.
Oh no,
Zyra.
it was Nautilus Zaya, not Zyra.
Oh, I thought you said Zyra. I thought you said Zyra.
I think
No,
Zaya's
it's
bad.
Zaya.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, you
I was
thought-
sitting here thinking, so you
Nah.
said Zyra Nautilus. I was like, what in the world?
Well, I don't think
That would
Na-
be-
I
that
don't
would be
think
a side
Zaya's
lane,
good.
too.
That'd be annoying to me. That's what I thought he
Yeah.
said. I was like, dang, what is going on?
That would be. That would.
All right,
be-
sorry. You're not as crazy.
Yeah.
I looked at you like you're crazy. That's on me.
I've got the off meta picks. I've left and right.
Now, I don't want to put it out there too much here, Sean, but I know that for you personally, a big goal for you this summer going into the next season, you still have one more year left, one more year of competition.
Yeah.
But you've had a goal for a while that you want to play on a collegiate team. You have a goal. You want to go and find a school. You want to go and compete for a team. And for you, Matthew, as well, that's also been your goal for a little bit.
Yeah.
You wanted to play on a team. I know you guys are at different spots here, but I guess one question I want to ask you guys and kind of pass on to anyone else who wants to be on a team is what does that process look like for both of you so far?
So I'll start. The process is kind of like it's different because it's esports, right? Getting a normal college scholarship for sports, you just have to be. I don't know how that works exactly, but I know that there's not a lot of coaching opportunity for normal players, essentially. And I think that one of the big things that we have going for us is that we have previous coaching experience, and that goes a long way for college teams trying to get into the esports scene. Whereas if you were just a friend of friend, it wouldn't be as easy to get into the college with a scholarship. That being said, you don't have to be so specifically good at the game. A lot of the college players aren't like in Columbia College. Here we have 5 top 100 players that get
Not
second
all
or
schools
first.
are like that. Plenty is
Right.
weird.
Definitely an exception here.
So it's pretty open to a lot of like the top 5% kind of area, and the actual process because I've gotten I've went to CMU and I've went to Missouri Valley so far, and the process for me was the tour. I didn't even know I was going to go on the CMU tour, but the process was that we hitched a ride on the battle bus. We went to CMU, and they were kind of interested in some of the players there. But you want to make sure you're forward to the coach that, like, hey, I'm interested in your team. I'm interested in your program. I want to be there. And you have to really make sure that they know that, because they're not going to invite you. Like, you have to put yourself forward that way that they know that you really want to. Otherwise, that it's kind of like getting a job, And I felt like that made me stand out more than the other players there. And then I'm going this Tuesday on a tour to Missouri Valley to go see their esports room and see their program and their food. More excited about their food than anything. I think college food's
Tours,
pretty
you get-
important, right?
Yeah, the most important place to tour on a college visit is the lunchroom. You know,
Right,
wherever
it is
what
very
it's
true.
called,
Whenever
yeah.
they brag, they're like, "Hey, you're gonna get a free lunch on us," and you go and you're
Let's
like,
see where it's at.
"This
What
is
do you
a
got?
free
Yeah, where's your
lunch."
ice cream machine? Is it
Right.
a buffet? Is it not a
Yeah.
buffet? What do you got? Nice, yeah. Sean?
So since like all my stuff just got over from my junior life, so I'm still looking for the list of the schools that I'm trying to go. Like I'd say some of the lists include like UC Irvine, and that's like my primary dream, but that's for like really good players. So maybe later, and other like UCLA's, UC Berkeley, and I'm just even like considering Missouri, like just Mizzou in general, other schools in Missouri, and maybe Princeton. I'm not really sure if they have esports. I'm just looking for colleges that I just want to go in regardless of the esports first of all. So, and maybe after I'm done with all those listing, I'll probably I'll look for their esports programs, and if they have one, I'll just try to contact their coaches, and like through Twitter or email or even like in game, and I'll just talk about their programs and how interested I am, and see if I can like get contact with them later. And that's just my current plan. It's like pretty vague, but I'm trying to get fit of it during my summer break. So
Mhm.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to really try and improve, more or less, and your scholarship, like the amount your scholarship is going to be, is also somewhat dependent on how good you are at the game. Just like with any sport, obviously. Um, but you still have a whole year to like keep trying and keep climbing, and maybe you'll hit challenger. Who knows?
Yeah, sometimes I know personally speaking, like your junior year is the year when you really start looking for colleges, and I think the one thing that you guys both mentioned, which I think is the biggest takeaway for anyone who might be interested in looking for a scholarship or going to any school for anything, not just esports, but it is that proactiveness, right? There are how many high schoolers in the country that are doing exactly what you do. And I think a lot of people have this misconception that colleges and scouts and coaches, they're supposed to find me. I am great. They need to find me. My coach should put my stuff out there. And that's not it at all, right? So, for instance, I was a track and field athlete in high school. Like, that was my thing. I got offers from schools that did find me. But the school that I actually ended up at, that I went to, that I ended up getting the biggest scholarship for,
Mizzou.
not actually Mizzou. I actually went to Lindenwood University, and the reason was because I found a player, or one of my best friends was going there for football, and I actually reached out to their coach. I found their coach's information. I reached out. I set up a meeting. I went and met with him, and I showed him all my times and my races, and I showed him and put in the effort to already go through the application process, and showed them that I was a good fit for their school and what I could offer, and that right there is applicable for any sport, for anything, and specifically for esports. I think you guys have the advantage that for video games, you guys have all your film already saved, right? Yeah,
Right.
you don't have to film. I know the film I brought with me was my dad taking videos of my races on a flip, on a
Right,
iPhone,
back then.
whatever, a really really bad smartphone. And it's
Oh,
like,
no.
what's I don't know what the point is for recording a race. You can't really see anything anyway. But yeah, you guys already have the advantage of doing that, right?
Yeah, one of the things that the CMU coach actually requested was clips of my gameplay, and I have 3 or 4 built up right now. It was kind of hard during the season to get them all, because there's still plenty of opportunity to make those good team plays and things like that. One of the plays that I have saved is the one that I nominated for best in the season. But yeah, it's all documented, recorded. I can ask you, you or Joe,
Mhm.
and you'll gladly find something.
Yeah, I think that's something that we want to do as a resource too, is help connect you guys to coaches, to players, even help put together your own portfolios, because you guys also have built something that's beyond your ability as players. You guys are both plat, diamond level players who have not just shown the ability to climb the solo queue ladder, but have played on a team. You guys have learned to be coachable. You guys have learned to work together with other people, as well as gone back and shown that you can rewatch your own matches and you can grow. I think that's one of the most valuable things. And I think the next step, right, is making those introductions, letting them
Right.
know that you're out there and you're looking, because they're looking too, right? We actually talked about this today in a video we're going to put out. It's kind of about like contracts and stuff. You guys don't know about Tfue. That's Fortnite related, but he has a contract out there that he signed that was not maybe in his best interest, so he's trying to get out of it. And that's very
Right.
similar to like the college scene, where sometimes you get approached by organizations or colleges who really have a tough time finding talent. how do you find like a high schooler that plays League of Legends, right? You can't go in the solo, you can't go op.gg and say high schoolers only, please. But at the same time, though, they show up in your guys' Discord channels. They message
They
you guys
show
on your Twitter, on like your high school Twitter accounts, and they message you guys and they ask you, hey, come to my school. Like it's important that you guys like understand that they're out there, but you guys gonna have a lot of power. You guys have the ability to choose
Exactly
where you
right.
go, who you approach.
As much as it is you want to like put yourself out there, you also have to make the choices that are of best interest to you
Mhm.
at the same time. My dad actually, one of the things that he said, which was kind of funny, is that it's not playing on a team, like on a actual like esports team for a school, is a lot different than playing in your room, like alone in your room, right? You learn a lot of like team membership skills, and you learn how to like bond with your teammates, and you learn like respect and other things like that kind of help. Because I mean, you all know like the classic Call of Duty kid who's raging in his room, throwing his controller or whatnot, and this is kind of an environment that promotes the exact opposite. Especially, not exactly for Call of Duty, but especially for like real competitive esports.
And even like look at the programs. I mean, we've heard of programs out there that aren't very strict about it, and their players don't really worry as much about their schoolwork, and they like practice till 4 o'clock in the morning, which is one, not healthy, and two, that's not setting you up for success after you finish college. And you're an
Right.
esports athlete. I know, like you specifically, you have to focus on, Sean, like what your degree is going to be in. What school, so it fits those interests as well. And I think that's important to keep in mind. Is like
Oh, yeah.
even though you want to play esports, maybe you pick a school. You don't just pick the school that has the program, but also is a good fit for you. Like, what if there's scholarships only for like an arts degree, or only a computer science degree, and I don't know, maybe you don't want to do
And
computer
you're
science.
stuck. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
stuck with it.
That's
and
why it's always
that's-
good to have a plan, because while it is, you may be that 1%, that less than 1% that becomes a millionaire based on your gaming career. What if you're not? You need
Right.
that backup.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a difference between going to college to play games and going to college to get an education for games,
That's right.
kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well-
I think you guys always have your head in the right space, and I'm glad that you're looking. If you need help too, Matthew, like we are obviously here, we want to be a resource and to help everyone we run into find whatever avenue they want to for success. Help them connect, practice doing interviews, whatever it may be. We just want to help you guys. Figure out your future, because obviously for Ukatsu we work with kids under the age of 18, but it's all about setting people up for success afterwards,
Right.
whether through gaming or not. So, but yeah, either way, I want to thank you guys for being on today's podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know after today, we got to figure out this best bot lane matchup, because we talked about it, and we didn't get a lot of time, but I want to definitively see what the heck is going to go on with the Vel'Koz Bard.
Yeah,
And if
not
it's beatable,
really.
I want to figure that out.
Yours, Lucian Braum, makes sense.
That makes sense, I mean,
Vel'Koz Bard, I'm a
What
little.
could be safe? Yeah, so I want to try it out. But anyway, though, thank you guys though for coming in. And this is episode 2. They're going to start coming out very soon, hopefully bi-weekly. We're going to have more people on, and hopefully you guys will be back for different segments, because we're going to start throwing in some more fun stuff. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe it's
I don't
fun,
know.
maybe it's not. Either way, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode.